How you guys doing today? I'm Certified Master Inspector Q with ProInspect Solutions. I am here with a special guest today, Fabio from Magic Mortgage, and he's going to give you a wealth of knowledge. He's been a great colleague to me as well as a friend and a team player. So I want to just you to sit back, listen, and just write notes on some of the things that he has to bless you with in regards to knowledge. So Fabio, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. That was a great intro. It sounds rehearsed. That's good. That's good. I like it. I like
Yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah, man.
So Fabio, I run across a lot of buyers, and I know you do too as well. One of the things they have is the misconception of a home inspection. So can you talk about maybe what are some of the biggest misconceptions for home buyers when you're speaking about a home inspection process?
Yeah. I would say we'll categorize it into three different things. Misconceptions. It's not just a trivial, superficial, hey, are the doors working and is there any leaks? It's a lot more in depth. For example, just leaks. I mean, yes, there are leaks that you can see. Sometimes the ceilings have there's signs of leakage there, or there's puddling, but sometimes there's leaks behind the walls
Mhm.
that you have to have special equipment to be able to do that. Sometimes it's not something that's damaged, but the potential of it being damaged. How do we know? Well, for example, if it has certain type of wiring, aluminum wiring, or if it's a Sylvania panel, electrical panel. These are things that if a consumer looks at an electrical panel and they don't know that the Sylvania panels are obsolete, or that there's a bad track history with aluminum wiring, they'll think, oh, it looks good.
Mhm.
But the thing is, to get a professional certified inspector that will review these types of things, and foresee things, and especially if it's super efficient and having the right equipment and the experience to do so. Um, those are some of the things that are keeping, um, you know, it helps to have the professional that will review these things for you, you know. And so,
Absolutely.
as a misconception, it's not an easy thing,
No.
you know. It's a very, very detailed type of report.
Absolutely. I agree with everything. You kind of stepped into the lane of the home inspector. Talking about in
You
technology.
hiring?
I know, right? I need to bring you on board, right? He's mentioned great things about the Sylvania panel and the fire risk that comes along with solid aluminum strand wiring. So yeah, those are very important things that you people don't really consider as a home buyer. One thing that I also notice with home buyers when they look at the home inspection reports, and sometimes they can be lengthy. So, what do you do in the situations where the report is lengthy, long, and they're starting to panic a little bit? How do you handle that situation?
Well, one of the reports that's done is the long inspection, but the other one is the 4 point. So the 4 point, I try to focus on that because those are the pain points. Those are the parts that are super, super fundamental. They need to, safety, plumbing, electrical, roof. Those types of things are fundamental in the purchase of a home. We focus on those things. Some of the other things are, the socket it's not working or it's not grounded correctly. Um, it can it could be a potential safety issue. So we try to focus on the things that are more towards safety issues as opposed to just that there's a soffit that's open that a squirrel could get in or things like that. Um, so yeah, sometimes the inspection reports can be very, especially if the lengthy ones can be very, very intimidating for a first time home buyer. They don't know where to start. They don't know what things. Oh my gosh, the doorknob is loose. That's bad, right? No, well, no. If it's the bathroom doorknob, it's not such a big deal. But the thing is, for example, one of the things that people don't know is that the door for the garage has to be is it insulated or has to be a special type of door, like a fireproof door, correct?
Yes, it has to be fire rated. I mean, it has to be
Yeah.
solid wood, at least
Yeah.
4 inches thick.
And so those are little things that you kind of learn along the way. Um, and if that door's not in good condition, it might look cosmetically might look fine, but the inspectors will find out if that really is working. And so you try to keep, let before the inspection, you let them know more or less, what to kind of things to expect,
Mhm.
that you're going to be an advisor to them and be able to say, hey, listen, this it looks bad, but it's not as bad. Or listen, it looked good, but it's actually kind of bad. So you want to walk through the process and know that there's a team behind them in the purchase process that they're going to look out for their best interest.
Oh yes, and you know what, we come across before they even get the inspection report, and we tell them the details of things that we find, they start getting panicking as well. And we always mention that, hey, the four main components is five main components: the roof, electrical, plumbing, and the structure of the home is the main concerns that you want to look for. So I'm glad that also that you're going strictly off those main components. So when we speak, it almost coincides together that it shows that we're working as a team
Yes.
when it comes down to those things that are very important, because like you mentioned, doorknobs, minor cosmetic maintenance, things like that. Those are things
Yeah.
that you can all have fixed, but it's really those key components that makes a big difference, and
Yeah.
if you want to pay or not pay for it. So that brings us to the next question. Many times, inspection reports can be used as negotiating tools. So, as a mortgage lender, as a realtor, how do you help with guiding them through? Okay, um, we can use this in our favor instead of looking at it as a Debbie Downer.
Well, actually, for example, an FHA loan is going to be a lot stricter than a conventional loan in terms of some of the repairs that need to be done. Um, for example, in a conventional loan, let's say that they find a leak in the water heater. Water heater's 12, 15 years old. There's a leak on it. Um, with a conventional loan, you can get an estimate from the seller. And let's say the seller doesn't want to fix it. Well, um, you tell the seller, well, listen, it's going to cost $550 to come in, put a brand new water heater, and with labor, cost of labor, that's what it costs. At closing, the seller will basically cut a check for $550 to do that. Or if they want to do it themselves, that's fine. But an additional concession from the seller. On an FHA, it's a little bit different. In an FHA, something like a water heater has to be fixed prior to closing. So in other words, the loan is looking good. We're ready to go. But listen, buddy, we need to change that water heater prior to closing. And so the seller, has to take the money out of his pocket to get it done. So in terms of negotiating, sometimes things that were not expected, let's say that there's something inside the roof, some wood where there's termites, and the damage is extensive. The seller didn't know that this was going on until they inspected. So now we're looking about, let's say the people still are in love with the house. Well, there's some major repairs to be done and some termite elimination that needs to be done too. That can affect the price or the concession. The seller could say, well, it's going to cost $1,000. What I'll do is at closing, we'll give you an additional $1,000. You get that fixed after closing. If that type of loan permits it, that's some of the things that can be done to negotiate maybe a better price,
Yeah.
or just to get a little bit extra money back from the seller.
Those are great options too, by the way. And
Mm.
knowing how to navigate that takes experience, in which Fabio has a lot of it. That's why he's able to explain it so thoroughly that way. Now, I know as a mortgage lender, there are options for individuals that maybe not want to buy a new construction home, or they want to take renovations onto their own self. They want to be the master of their faith when it comes down to making sure that the house is put together the way they want to do it. Talk to us a little bit about buyers that are looking to maybe go through a 203K loan home buying process, and what has been your experience in the past?
Well, I'll talk to realtors who are not familiar with the 203K loan and the consumer. So the 203K loan is an FHA loan. As you know, FHA loan, if there's something wrong with the house, the foundation, the roof, the windows, things that really are important, they're not cosmetic. The FHA loan will not permit these things to be done to be a credit at closing. They have to be fixed prior to. Sometimes you have a seller that's tapped out. They don't have money. they just don't have money, although they don't have the patience to do the things on their own. They're waiting for that check to be able to to move somewhere else. So they don't have the money available to do the repairs. But let's say that the buyer is needing to do an FHA loan. Well, the happy medium is that the 2 or 3K loan will allot a certain amount of money, will actually increase the loan amount to include, let's say, $20, $30, $40,000 in addition to the original loan, so that those repairs that need to be done can be done post closing. They're going to give you the keys to your house, and on day one, after it's a little more complicated, but on day one, you'll have a contractor come in, put new cabinets in, do repairs on the house. They'll be able to do all these different things needed to be able to get the house to pass an FHA inspection. So again, it's a little complicated, but it goes from point A to point B to point C. Not everyone does that. Now, for example, let's say that you are a listing agent and there's some issues with the house. Well, what's going to happen is this: you're going to be flooded by investors. Let's say the house is worth $300,000. These investors are not going to pay $300,000 for the house. They're going to pay maybe $200,000. Thinking that, well, it's going to cost $50,000 to fix it, and at least I'll make $50,000 on the deal. So what happens is, what if you can sell the house at full price or close to full price, no lowball offers? Guess what? Everybody wins. The seller wins because now he's selling the house for $300,000 instead of $250,000 or $200,000. The buyer wins. Why? Because the day they move into the house, they're going to get brand new roof, brand new windows, new flooring, maybe new cabinets, new plumbing for the house. So within 35, 45 days of the house, it's in great shape. And yes, the realtors are going to be happy too, because guess what? There's more commission on $300,000 than the $200,000. So it's a great way of getting that done.
Yeah. So it just goes to show there's options out there, and everybody wins when it comes down to even if you don't find a house that you really enjoy, you can always make repairs, you can fix it up and make it your own. So I want to thank you, Fabio, for taking the time out to really sharing your expertise here. And we hope to, do this again. We want to get more information from you, because I know that we could have went on and on and on in regards to this conversation. But we want to say thank you guys for joining in, and hopefully you'll see us on the next one.
All right, guys. Take care.